In a city with a rhythm all its own, a centuries-old tradition has found new life. The music is Johann Sebastian Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 3, composed some 300 years ago. The players are the Seattle Philharmonic Cello Choir, bringing listeners old and young out of their seats in South Lake Union.
I've been listening to Bach most of my life, and I know most of these pieces by heart, so it's just, I don't know, it's just awesome.
It's called Bach in the Subways, a tradition that began 8 years ago in New York City. But it is now an international phenomenon. You don't have to be a pro. Just join thousands of musicians in 40 countries playing the works of the father of classical music every March 21st.
On Bach's 333rd birthday. It has been one of the most exciting things we've ever had to play for.
Cellist SHARON is proud to be part of a Seattle contingent that broke a record last year. 300 musicians playing 53 hours of Bach, more than any other city in the world.
Bach, to me, and I think to our group, it's clear, it's straightforward, and it's full of energy.
It's an energy, she says, cannot and should not remain confined inside a concert hall.
We are bringing music to the public in venues they've never had before.
Venues like the Beacon Hill Light Rail Station, where the students of GRACEANN Cummings surprise even their teacher.
You would think, okay, here we go with the studies, but they don't. They love Bach. They love the sound. They love the feeling, because Bach's music is really visceral, kinesthetic.
Or maybe there's another word for it. Let's ask 15-year-old JAELON Mendoza.
I really think that Bach is someone that truly gives the epitome of like the expression of the soul a little bit in like a more structural way. His music brought out a lot within life, and I think that celebrating it every year here and playing in the subways is a great idea, and it's really dope actually.
Wait a minute. Rewind that.
It's really dope actually.
Did you catch that, Johann? Kids think celebrating your birthday in 2018 is really dope. Call it what you will. GRACEANN Cummings has her eye on the growing number of young musicians, preserving a classic tradition by taking it to the streets.
The fact that the globe is alive with his music 300 years later for his birthday is quite a phenomenon. And nobody is really procuring this, saying, oh, you need to do it. It has just sort of arrived.
But has Bach just arrived, or has he always been around? Bands still crank out versions of his spooky but completely rocking toccata and fugue. And music purists will tell you, if it weren't for Bach's work on tones and scales, we wouldn't even know about the most popular chord progressions in blues and rock and roll. So what does Bach's music really mean?
I find myself stammering a lot and kind of maybe looking silly, but I don't know how to describe it with words.
The performance describes all you need to know. In a surprise visit, Dale Henderson, the guy who started Bach in the Subways back in 2010, came to Seattle this spring to play the music that inspires him and so many others.
We talk a lot about, bringing new audiences to classical music, but really I think we're reminding them of something that's, or maybe they didn't know, but it's something that's already there. It's something that's kind of reconnecting people to this beauty that's belongs to us all.
Truth be told, Dale never expected a celebration of Bach's birthday to become an international event, but he's glad it did.
To me, it's one of the great miracles of my life.
It does feel like a miracle that a growing modern city can find so much harmony with a composer born 330 years ago. And that miracle will continue to amaze as a new generation of musicians begins a new life for these compositions. Happy birthday, Johann Sebastian, and don't worry. Seattle is keeping this rhythm going for a lot more parties for years to come.
Watch CityStream Thursday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or get video on demand and podcasts anytime at seattlechannel.org.